So, welcome everyone to this talk. It's called Automate iOS Tests with XCUITest Framework. My name is Ibrahim. I'm a senior automation engineer at Dashlane. I have 6 years of automation experience in automation. Yes, I'm working now for 2 years at Dashlane. What is Dashlane? So in 2 words, Dashlane is a password manager that's basically a password manager that allows you to handle or to manage your identity and your payments in a very simple way online and everywhere. And when I say everywhere, all the platforms, and one platform in particular I will be talking a lot about today, Apple. So whether you like Apple or not, we have to work with it. So today I'm going to be showing you how to automate your tests on the Apple devices using technology from Apple. So we're going to use Apple to test Apple. So I will show you the tools that Apple gave us to test the application on Apple. Just before that, I would like to show you the application that we're going to test together today. So it's an application that I built myself. I'm very proud of it, so you should be impressed. So this is my emulator, and this is my application. So it's a very complicated application. So you need to be concentrated to understand the application. I'm kidding, actually. So it has 3 text fields and 4 buttons. If you click here on add 1 to blue, it will add 1. If you click on add 3, it will add 3. And if you click on add 5, well, it will add 5. Yeah, exactly. And the reset, check, check. Wow. So this is the application that we're going to be testing today. Now I can go back to my slides. So the agenda today, I'm going to show you what are the tools that we're going to use, how to write a test case, how to parallelize the runs, and how to integrate the test, how to run them, and how to integrate them in the CI, which is continuous integration, if someone don't know what the CI is. The first tool I'm going to be talking about is XCUITest. So for those who don't know what's XC is Xcode. So this is the logo of Xcode. Xcode is the IDE that is made by Apple, of course, in which the developers write their code of their application. So the developers can write their code with using Objective-C and Swift. And in this framework, we're going to write our tests, actually. So we're going to write our UI tests inside this framework. And actually, it will allow the user to click on a button, to type inside a text field, to swipe up, swipe down. So do everything you can inside an application. The second tool, actually, it's a programming language. So this programming language is called Swift. Swift, actually, it's made by Apple as well in 2014. So it's very recent, as you can tell. It's modern, and it's very easy to learn, very easy. And we're going to use this language to write our UI tests, actually. We have 2 ways, actually. So let's say you have already your application, the code of your application inside of Xcode. It's already there. And you didn't have tests before, but now you want to add tests. So how can you add tests to a project? Actually, I made screenshot, but I want to show you that live. It's always better. So this is a project that I have. I want to add tests, so I go here, new, target. I want to add a new target, and here I have to scroll and choose UI testing bundle, and it will add the tests to my file. And then the second thing I want to show you is, oops, I don't have, okay. If you want to create a new project from 0, so you don't have any application yet to test, you want to add it from 0, so you go here, new, project. So it's a single view app. Let's give it a name SQA, And the important thing here is to do is this, include UI tests. When you check this, you're telling Xcode that I want to add tests inside this project. And these two things we did right now, so add to an existing project and to create a new project, actually they will do the same thing. So this is and create a new project. As I told you, the important thing here is include UI tests. So these two things actually will do the same thing. They will create a file, sorry. They will create a file which is called, so the name they gave to your application, name of the app, UItests.swift. This file, it will come with a code, a template of a code of how to write a test. So Apple gave us this. It will tell, like Apple told you, okay, this is how you write a test, just copy what I did. And it contains something very important, two methods. One is setup, one is teardown. So we all know what's setup and teardown. So setup and teardown is to allow you to have a clean application, a clean phone, sorry, after each test. So it installs the application, tear down and deletes the application, so to start clean. And this file will contain your tests in grouped by classes. So every class will be a test. Warning, very important warning. If you want your test to be considered by Xcode as a test, it has to start by the word test. And if it doesn't start by the word test, Xcode won't understand it's a test, and you won't be able to run it. So as I told you, there's two ways of writing a test case. First way is writing code, of course. And the second one, recording a test, so recording your actions. I'm going to start by the first one, which is writing code. Before I start, I just want to show you the important thing if you want to write an automated test is how to launch the application. So this code, also Apple gives us this code. So here, it's very simple. So we're saying, okay, let's define app as the application we're testing. So whenever I want to do something with the application, I just have to say app.do the application. Like here, we're doing app.launch. So launch the application. And as I told you, you don't have to memorize this code because Apple gives us this code inside the file that I showed you before. And also, Apple gives us a class called XCUIElement. And in this element, you have all the actions you need. Tap, double tap, two fingers, press, swipe right, swipe left, up, down, pinch, rotate. Everything you need is already there in this class. Now that we have know how to launch the application, and we have all the class that with all the actions we need. Let's see, for example, how to tap on a button. Easy. So I'm telling the application app, you have a button that has the label click here. Please tap on it. It will tap on the button. As easy as this. How to type inside a text field. Same. Well, here I'm defining the text field. So app, you have a text field that has first name and the label. Please tap on it and then type text inside the text field. Type John, for example. The first name is John. Type it, it will type text. How to assert that an element exists. So there is a method called XCTAssert. Assert what? That app.staticTest, this stat exists. And this is a Boolean, so it will return true or false if it doesn't exist. Now that we have everything we need, we can write a test case. We can create our first test case. Let's do it. So the application I showed you, so my famous application, I'm going to show it again. So we have 3 buttons. We have 3 text fields. Let's write test case. So I'm just going to take this. So let's call the test check blue. Blue. So I'm going to check the blue button, actually. So here, I'm going to click on the blue button. So the first thing you might tell me will be like, we need to launch the application. Actually, what I did is I put it here, so it can be public and be used by all the tests. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say app, you have something, which is buttons, And the button is add 1 to blue. What do I need to do with the button? Tap. Now to click on the button. So if I click here, I need to check that this text field is 1. So assert, XCT assert, that static text field, sorry. Wait, I'll have it here. I didn't add a type app. Exactly. Same thing, which is gonna be 1.exists. As simple as this. This is a test. So I can take this, copy it here. So here. Oops. So this is 1, and if you click again, you have to check that it is 2. So this is how to write code. It's very easy. You don't need to know code to write a test. And if you really don't like code, like really, really don't like code, you can record the test. And this is what I'm gonna do, show you right now. It's even better. So I'm just gonna kill the application here. I'm gonna run it. Okay, something is wrong with my... Okay, I'm gonna show you the slide, actually, it's better. So we created the first case. Actually, I created a video in case something doesn't work. So this is what I actually did. So I created, so now I'm gonna show you the recording, how the recording works. It's very easy, you just have to create a function, empty function here. And you can see here, there's a run button. If you click on the red button, and you do actions, you see, it will write code for you. The same thing I wrote. It's the same thing, and it will actually refactor it as well. So 2 ways of writing, recording and writing code. But I mean, the recording actually, it will not assert for you. So you will need to have, you need to have, to write some code, like you need to write the assert for you, because it will not assert. So I cannot say you can use the one method and not the other, recording or writing, but having 2 will simplify your life. It's very important to have the 2 methods. Now, how to run the test cases? It's very easy. There's a button here, a play button, which is run. You just have to click on the button, actually. And here you can see, so it launched the application. So because it's very fast, I put breakpoint, actually. I'm just gonna show it to you step by step. So it clicked first time, clicked second time, and the test is done. It's green, test succeeded. Now I'm gonna show you how the test is failed. I'm gonna change this to 1. So this test will fail. So if you click on run, you can see it's very fast. The test will fail, it will be red. And actually Xcode generate a report for every test, if it passed or failed, and you can see the report here. You can click here, and it will show you a screenshot, actually, of your test, the failed test. You can see it's a 2 here, and here it will tell you you're expecting 1, so it's failing. So this is for the reporting part. So I'll show you how to run tests. So let's say, I don't know, you have 50 test cases, 100, 1,000. If you're gonna run them one by one like this, actually it may take some time. And we don't have time, actually. So the thing I'm gonna show you now is parallel testing. Parallel testing is, as the name says, it's how to run tests at the same time, but on different devices. So parallelize, actually. And Xcode allows you to do this, actually. It's very easy. So you just have to click on the target here, go to test options, and execute in parallel on simulator. It's a GIF, actually, to repeat itself. So click here, edit scheme, test, and options, and execute in parallel. You have also randomize, so it will run the test in a random order. It's not actually the subject of the talk, but this is the important thing, is to execute test in parallel. So now we're ready, actually. So we can parallelize the test. No, I mean, I'm saying no, we cannot parallelize the test, actually. There are some considerations. The test has to be independent. So they cannot be dependent like one each other, like one can delete the data and one adds the data, so it will be a complete mess. Parallelizing tests is not suitable for performance tests, and you have to check that you have enough resources on your machine, like RAM or processors or these kind of things, because it consumes a lot. Now, I'm going to show you how to run them and how it happens, actually. So here you can see it's the same test. I just copy-pasted it, actually. So test blue 1, 2, 3. So it's the same test. I just copy-pasted. I created one also for green. So this is the green button. I created one also for red. So red 1, red 2, red 3. So now, in total, I have 12 test cases. Let's see how we can automate. So I checked the parallelize thing. Now I'm going to run the tests. How you can see, click on test. And now, it will launch 3 emulators. And it will run the tests on the 3 emulators, so in parallel. So you can see, so tests are running on the 3. Amazing. So now I showed you how to run the parallel, like the tests from Xcode. So by clicking on the button, let's say we have these tests and we want to integrate them into a CI, into continuous integration. It means like I want to run these tests on a server machine, a different machine. So I want a bot to run my tests. I don't want to do it manually. So you can run them with a command line, actually. And this is the command line. So here I'm calling Xcode. I'm telling him I want to run my tests. I'm giving the name of the project and the scheme. Here, I'm telling him on which device I want to run it. So on an iPhone 11 Pro, yes, I want the parallel testing. And I want on 3 devices. And if you run this command line, actually, it's going to do the same thing. Don't worry, I'm not going to make you watch the video again. So here, it launched the first emulator. I'm going to fast forward it a bit. So you have 3 emulators. And here, the testing is done, and it generated something. It told you, like, oh, you have the result file here. If you open this result file, it will open inside Xcode. And you can see the results here. So it's actually, it's a file that can be opened. So it's an XCT result file that can be opened inside Xcode only. But if you have a lot of other tools that can change this file into an XML file or a HTML file for your tools, for your CI tools, and then you can import them into GitLab or Jira or whatever to have the results of your tests. How much time did we gain? Because we run them. If we run them on, I did it myself. So I ran all the tests, the 12 tests, on one device. It took 58 seconds. On 3 devices, 28 seconds. So actually, the time we gain is 48%. Mind blown. It's just, yeah. So these are like, I have like really small tests, really small applications. So the difference is not like huge, but when you have like more than 3 devices, you have, I don't know, 5 devices, and the test is complicated because the installation of my application, actually it's very quick, it's very small, the application, and then my tests are very small. So if we scale it to a bigger project, you will gain more and more time than that. If you want to, like, if you like this framework and everything, so as you can see, it's very, like what I showed was very basic, very easy, but the more thing you want to explore, there are more complicated things, which like test plans. So test plans is to run the same tests, but with different configuration, like a different language, different currency, different time zone, whatever you want to change with the configuration of your tests. So you can use test plan for that. Here, something very important is called XC coverage. So something I didn't say at the beginning, but the tests, your test is going to be, will be in the same project as the code of the developers. So the code of the application, they will be all in the same project. So when you run your test, it will know how much line of code it executed. So you can know the X coverage, the XC coverage. So this will be inside something called the XC result file. So you can have it using the XC result tool. So yeah, it's if you want to develop more the usage of this tool, and of course the visual regression testing with so what we just have seen before in the talk that before. So Xcode supports a lot of other tools that do the visual regression testing. Yeah, my talk is actually done. So if you have any questions, actually, you can join me on my Twitter account if you have any question to ask me. And to thank you for being great audience, I'm offering you a 6-month premium of Dashlane. So the application I showed you, it's a password manager. So SQA 19, you can use it on the website dashlane.com. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Hi, thank you for lecture. I have a couple of questions. First question is, can we run tests on a real device, or we can use on the simulators?
Of course, you can use real devices, of course. Mm-hmm. But since we're talking about parallelization here, I just wanted to, to show you on like, I will not bring 3 devices, of course, but yeah, you can do it. So it's actually in this slide here, yeah, here, in the command line, actually, instead of giving this iOS simulator, you can just give the name of the device that is plugged into your machine, actually. Okay, so
great. Also, I want to ask about tests. As we saw, we used text fields, and we checked just text field and some value that we want to find. Is it possible that, for example, our application doesn't work well, and if we see it on your application, this simple one, we have number 3, for example, in a red,
yes,
in a red one, but we expect 3 in a blue one, but there we have 2.
So yeah, this is a very good question. So I built this application, but I didn't put an ID because I'm not developer. In case of IDs, actually, you just have to give the ID of the blue text field. Actually, it's very easy. I can show you to you like really quick here. So here you can tell that I don't have any IDs here because I'm not a developer. But there's something called accessibility inspector. So here, just click here, like on the field. So you can see nil. I don't have any IDs.
Okay.
But you can grab it from here, the ID, and just instead of giving the text field, just say the ID of this text field equal this.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, thanks for the talk. Can you please tell, can we use XCUITests for automation web mobile applications?
I'm sorry, use for?
Use this tool for automation of web mobile applications.
Web mobile applications, good questions. Yes and no. actually, because so let's say your application launches a web page. You can use it, but it's not. So you can, let's say you're automating a test that you click on a button and it opens a browser. You will lose the focus on the application. So you will not be testing the application anymore. So it will lose the application, so the test will fail. But if you want to use it only for test, for browser testing, you can use it no problem. But the mix of two of them actually, it's not that good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Here's a question.
Thanks, Ibrahim. So for the UI testing, they should be flaky. Do you have this problem with your test cases?
Flakiness?
Yes.
Flakiness is everywhere, actually.
What's the average percentage?
Percentage of flakiness, actually, it's not that high compared to other tools used. Because, so let's say now recently we have the update from iOS 13, iOS 12 to iOS 13. So there were new modifications actually. The thing with using tools from Apple, actually, you have these updates with it. So if you're using, I don't know, some other tool for automation, it might not be updated, so you have a lot of flakiness. But if you're using tools from Apple, it will already have the update, so you'll have less flakiness. But in terms of percentage, I would say it's very low actually, like maybe between 5 and 10% of the whole test framework actually, so it's not that high.
Thanks. Second question, who is responsible for changing the framework when the UI changes? So developer changes the UI, does he have to change the model in test framework, or it's on your shoulders?
It's on my shoulders, unfortunately. Because whenever there's a new release, you don't have access to any iOS developer. They will all like working on the iOS 13 release, and we have to release before the other companies. So unfortunately, you will have to do it yourself. But of course, they will help you because they will know more about the changes. They will share. I mean, you have meetings with them, how to fix this and this and this. Sometimes, like recently, Apple forced to use some fields like IDs that weren't used before, so the iOS developer will tell us, oh, this will fail because this changed, you have to update it. And as you can see, it's very easy to do the changes. It's not so complicated for a QA, so we can do it, and of course with their help.
Okay, it depends on the load. So if you have more capacity, so that's fine. But as soon as you use the same language, at least, you may shift it to their responsibilities.
Of course, you can do that. I mean, you can totally ask them like, okay, the tests are not working, and I don't know how to fix them. Please help me with it because you are iOS developer. I don't know.
No, you are handling the test cases, but you don't handle the model representation. The model, so the mapping of buttons, mapping of text fields.
But they have this actually. It's the same application.
Yes.
They will have it. They wrote it, so they will know it better than you, better than us actually.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. So, if there are no many questions, thank you very much.